Hello everybody, welcome to another tutorial presented by Code Cyclone. Today we are going to go over timers and some, or at least one good example of timers, which we're going to use from extending our mine launcher. And so let's go ahead and just get started right into it, since there's really nothing to go into it, or nothing to lead up to it anyways. So when people think of the idea of a timer, usually you get the idea of a stopwatch. You know, you're timing down to something, which is a fairly accurate I suppose, mental definition of what a timer in the game is going to do for you. Now, there's actually a few ways to do it. You can instinctively declare a timer by set timer, which we'll do first, or you can do something a little more implicit and actually create an object to act as a timer. And we'll go over this as well. So first off, let's go ahead and do the set timer function. And the set timer function is defined in Actor, so you have the ability to use it in just about anything in the game. And I believe there's very few things that don't have the ability to set timer, if anything. I've never actually run into that issue. But it's really just as simple as calling set timer, and I'll go ahead and increase this in size so you guys can see it. Set timer, and then it takes 3 arguments. You got the time interval, which is in seconds, and this can be either a floating point number or an integer. So here it's 3 seconds. The next thing is a boolean, determining whether it repeats or not. In this case, we're only going to blow up once, so false. And then in single quotations, or in Unreal what they call a name, as a name the function that you want to call. And to my knowledge, you can't actually use functions that have variables, unless of course they're optional, would be the only thing. But so when you type in that function name, which you can see it's here, these two match up, you don't add the parentheses. And like I said, no parameters, unless of course this was optional in here, then you could probably get away with that. I've never actually tried that myself, so something for you guys to try, explore a little. So what this is going to do is we're inside our projectile. When we tell it to stop all movement, which is when it, halts and becomes a mine, we're going to set the speed and all that to 0, and we're going to set a timer for 3 seconds. And it's not going to repeat, and it's going to call blow up. And all blow up is going to do is call destroy, which is what would make it explode anyways. I believe UT projectile actually has like a go boom or explode function, which might be more appropriate, but just so you guys get the idea of a timer, this is what we're going to use just to show something visually. Alright, so let's go ahead and compile this, which I already did, and I already got the game started to save us a little bit of time. So we'll go to game mode, generic shooter, we'll do the hallway, let's go. Okay, so we're loading up. And just like last time, we can shoot a couple and then remote detonate them. But now if we shoot it and leave them in the ground, wait a few seconds, and there it is. Now you notice that it seems like it was much longer than 3 seconds. I've noticed that in Unreal. I don't know if there's like a time difference to starting that up, maybe an extra tick or 2 inside the game, but yeah, just definitely not sure on that, so something you guys might have to look into. But it works. And this works for every mine that we place down, so if I put all 3, you'll see them all 3 in just a sec pop after each other. So 1, 2, and 3. Cool, right? Nice and simple. And this can be extended into anything, so you could make a grenade out of this. Make a grenade projectile. When it hits the ground, it still bounces around, but after 7 seconds or its fuse time, it explodes. Real simple. This can be applied to just about anything. But let's say we want to do something a little more robust. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to show you guys a little bit of triangulation code for what we did for one of ours. And you have to excuse me for just a sec while I pull it up out of this directory. You guys can't see it, but I can. Let's find a good one. Here we go. T effect timer. Okay. So the way that I declared it for our game is actually based off a tutorial. The fellow's name escapes me, but he did this a while ago, and it's where I learned. I had to change it a lot, but the base idea was there, and it's got me started. So you extend it off info, which later on we'll get into things like game replication info, player replication info, or just straight up replication info. But all this is just a storage class for different things. In particular, we use timers. So what we're going to do is we have an event named timer, and then in there we can define some logic. In this particular instance, we did owner, which is the guy that's calling us, and I'm seeing if he is a T-pawn, which is our base pawn. If he is, we tell it to run the effect. If it's a bot, tell it to run the effect. And down here you'll see a few different pieces. These aren't necessarily required. This one is, though. This one you definitely want to make sure is in there. There's a couple different versions of this. You guys can look up that structure, though, if you really want to see what that stuff does. But anyways, so we have this really basic function here, and we can actually, I'll open up T-bot for you guys. I won't do T-dude, but T-bot. Alright, so we got a couple of different things. Alright, so in its global variables we've defined an effect timer here, timer object. And if we go down, when we call run effect, we check different conditions, and we'll run slow effect, and we'll just start here with slow effect. This is called when a slowing projectile hits the pawn. What it does is it creates a timer object via the spawn function, and this is also another good legacy function that you guys should be very familiar with, because this is how you spawn things in the real world, or in the 3D world rather. So we spawn an object of class tEffectTimer, and its parent is self, so us. We set the effect seconds, which you don't have to worry about, and then we tell it to start its timer for 1.4 seconds each tick and make it true. Now what this is going to do, if you go back, we told it to run effect, right, this function. Well, let's do for slow. So if it is slowed, we're going to run that effect and pass the timer to it. So here. If the effect seconds, which we turned into 0 up here, is equal to 5, so it's ran a total of 5 times, well, 6, because it's going to go 0 to 1 first, then we're going to stop the timer with this clear function. Alright. If not, we're going to tell it to increase the effect of seconds, or the effect seconds rather, sorry, and slow down the pawn, which is just using the ground speed variable. Alright? And it's really quite that simple. You have two main functions, set timer, clear timer. So you put those two together, and it's good to go. That being said about clear timer, actually, you can do that in here as well. You can do, you know, clear timer, and this will run. It'll actually stop this from happening, because it's not going to take 2 seconds to get from here to here, probably more like a couple thousandths of a millisecond. You know, it'll be a very, very small amount of time. But that's really it. I mean, there's nothing more to timers, you know, than that. It's two functions, and the uses are limitless. I mean, you want to delay a door, you want to blow something up on a timer, you want to create a reload delay, whatever. This is the way to do it. It is so simple. They're little PC intensive, or sorry, not PC, CPU intensive, but they are just absolutely phenomenal. I've used them many times for different projects, and they are just fantastic for getting things done, especially when it comes to things like in the, you know, the T-bots example, you know, running something as an effect, whether it's poisoned or slowed or sleeping or paralyzed. You want to blow something up like a grenade or a mine, put it on a timer. There's just endless possibilities. You know, you can do so much with it, and it's so useful. So hopefully you guys got something out of this, and you know, for your projects, you guys can see, you know, the use for this, and hopefully you apply it there. So, until next time, guys, and just a final note, you guys should be coming close to that reflector wall, so hopefully I'll be seeing some more stuff from you guys there. If not, like I said, figure maybe a week or two and I'll go ahead and post up a solution for it so you guys can see what's going on. That'll be on our blog, by the way. I might do a video for that. We'll see. That'll all depend on how things go with people participating or not. If you guys were nice, I might make a video for you. If not, I'll just post on the blog. But until next time, guys, take care.